Hey, this is me building a $3 million a year business in public. The way these videos go are we start by opening 8 quadrillion tabs. No, I'm just kidding. We do some Q&A, then we do some growth stats, and then finally we round it out with some live strategy. This is my main channel at 102.758K subs, and then this is my daily updates channel at 5,000. So I just go to the community tab, scroll all the way down to the very, very bottom, legitimately the bottom, and then I answer questions, and that's how I give value back immediately. This is, oh boy, Ben, that's going to be a tough one. Aaron first says, an easy one. Hey, Nick, do you hire out the editing of your videos? Yeah, I do. I hire out my Instagram channel, which is now being managed by one of the most incredible guys I've ever worked with, named Shub, who just crushes it. 490K views in that recent video, 336K views in that other video. He basically gives me a bunch of scripts, which we put together using newsletters and some scraping systems and stuff like that. And then I record them on a teleprompter, and then he does everything else. So he actually publishes it and posts it himself. He does all the editing himself. He does the captions and stuff like that himself. Guy's an absolute killer. And the end result is obviously just massive virality on my Instagram. And then for my YouTube, my main channel over here, I hired an editor, I guess now almost 30, over 30 videos ago, named Johan, who is another absolute killer, who takes my long form content and then he cuts out, obvious imperfections or just obvious areas where I'm detouring maybe a little too hard. Then he puts together a super high quality intro, usually with some sort of asset or effect, and then does the publishing as well. So I guess the TLDR is get somebody to help you with the publishing. That tended to take a lot of my time. Obviously the daily updates channel is one thing, but yeah, that's more or less it for my flow. Pretty cool, huh? Ben says, what are your thoughts on these questions? God damn, man. What is the meaning of life? Does God exist? What happens after death? How big is the universe? The way you speak in your intelligence because thinks that you would be a great person to ponder these questions with. Please actually give me some real quick thoughts on these questions. Thanks. Also, how often do you ponder these questions? I feel like these questions are the elephant in the room of all of our lives. Well, I feel like if I were to meaningfully try and start answering any of those questions, it would probably take me until the heat death of the universe. Have you read the science fiction short story called The Egg by Andy Weir? One of my favorite short stories of all time. I'm not going to spoil it, and I'm going to let you guys read it, but it's an incredible book. Incredible short story. I think it touches on a lot. Touches on some religious themes, which I'm sure everybody here has their own opinions and beliefs on. But it touches on some religious themes, which I find very valuable. Touches on, I guess, purpose themes. Touches on sci-fi, which I love to death, obviously. I think the moral of the story that this guy tries to make is that the meaning of life is the meaning that you give it. So I'll let you give that a read, Ben. And I don't think it'd be really worthwhile for me to answer all of these questions on the Daily Updates channel. But yeah, I think that's the 80-20 there, and I think it makes my thoughts relatively clear. Then how often do I ponder these questions? When I was younger, a lot more. I find that the older that I get, it's sort of to be honest, in a small way, it's everything that I talk about. It's feedback over planning. We could sit here pondering the answers to these questions all day long for all eternity, and I don't think we'd meaningfully get any closer to actually solving them. If I could make use of my Excalibur, it's basically like a graph where it's stuff you've figured out over here. And then this is time. And then this is just, what you figure out with time. So I think there are big gains to be made initially, but then I think that plateaus out pretty quickly. And it doesn't really matter how much time you spend trying to ponder these things. The total amount of stuff the distance you get to solving this ends up sort of asymptoting. That's the term for when it just goes vertical horizontal like this. So I feel like pondering this is pretty similar to, honestly, just starting an AI automation agency. Who would have thought I could find a way to weave that shit in? But it is because, you sort of discover the meaning of your life, I think, through living it, to be real. Anyway, Renee Gebry says, thanks for all the value, man. Just joined Maker School. Really appreciate the structure you've built. My background is in product design and framework development. I'm pretty new to AI automation. Do you think it makes sense to follow the daily structure but tailoring it to my current skills? Would you recommend committing fully into AI automation? Or maybe a mix of both? Would love to hear your take on how flexible your framework is and what you'd recommend for someone in my position. Thanks so much. Keep killing it, dude. Keep killing it to you. Yeah, it is quite flexible. Really, the month one of Maker School, the vast majority of it is just like consistent daily lead generation. So you can take the nuggets that I give you, and a lot of people do. We probably have several hundred people that are applying this, not only to AI automation right now, but related, digital marketing, SMM, software development agencies, consultancies, MSPs, right? Just related businesses in the digital ecosystem, and they're doing pretty well with it. So yeah, you can totally do that. Get your own unique take on it. The one core non-negotiable is the daily lead generation. That's about it. Okay, Period says, I'm thinking about starting my own community, likely not in the AI Nation. I wonder what is the minimum features for a community like weekly calls, courses, fireside chat templates that you'd start with in order to make it valuable for those who join. I'd like to somehow test my community idea would work without building courses and other materials for a week without any feedback. Thanks. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I did. I didn't actually even have the course materials up until I launched the community. Like I launched my community almost a year ago now in May of 2024, approximately. This was my first one, Make Money with Make. And I didn't have any course material. I had nothing. All I had was a weekly office hour. That was my commitment to people. And then I had like a couple of exclusive videos that I think took me in total like 3 hours to record, and they weren't very high quality, but my commitment was that I was just going to show up every day and I'd figure it all out later. So honestly, that's my recommendation for you too, man. Just show up and then figure it out later. Figure it out while you're doing the thing. I guess sort of like the meaning of life. Winners Don't Win says, idea for your daily updates. Automatic timestamp by asker name and question. That'll allow people to search for their own questions. At first thought, you think it could reduce watch through rate if that's a thing, you get it. But it would actually allow people to click through into all your videos, not just one of it, because frankly, it's impossible to bootstrap an agency while following everything you put out. Think about it. It would make questions more searchable. Another idea, reply a serial number to questions you answer and the guy who asks can get a notification. Now that's interesting. Serial number of the video, not the comments. It's the same as hearting effort-wise for you. That's cool. Just occurred to me that the single person getting the notification wouldn't affect anything for your stats. Just do it, please. But hold on a second. What is the serial number? Think about it logically. How would I put it? I haven't named the video yet, right? What would the serial number be here? Do you have any ideas on this? I mean, you asked this 2 days ago. You're probably watching this video. How would I do this? If I could solve this problem and then notify people when I answer their specific questions, it would probably improve my engagement. I think it would decrease the serendipity of all of this, which I think would be a potential downside, but it would like increase the convenience. What do you guys think? Am I missing something really obvious? I'm pretty sleep deprived right now, and I don't think I have the capacity to really make any groundbreaking innovations here in daily updates. But if I reply with a comment, as opposed to just hearting everything, it would take marginally more effort on my side, but very marginally. And then maybe there'd be a way that I could link it up to the specific time in the video. Would that be it? Maybe I just like check out my OBS and I say 7:56, something like that. Could that work? That might work. All right. So what would I do? I'd check my OBS timestamp, so 8:08, right? And then I'd reply, and then I'd say 8:08. Can I do that? If I reply with this, what's going to happen? Is this a timestamp in the video? Oh, sorry. It's my other daily update. Where's this fella? What did I say? I said 8:08. So you click on that? No, but that's on the current video, man. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. All right, anyway, I'm being silly. If anybody here has an idea on how I could solve that, please do. I'd rather crowdsource that. Congrats, Nick. Thank you, guys. Thank you. You guys are great. Bastian says, I recently started sending cold emails I script the Avify Apollo script with these campaigns and instantly have stopped due to bounce rates being too high. Is this an issue you face? And if so, how can you ensure, preferably for free, that your lead list is legit? Thanks. Yeah, there are a couple of free alternatives, but they're not very good. Free alternatives to email validations, but they're not very good. One's called Lumrid. There's another one that somebody in my community, I think it was Harry, posted recently. Don't remember exactly which one that is. From our tests, Lumrid is a little bit overeager, and so it flags a lot of otherwise good emails as bad emails. So that's unfortunate. I'd recommend you do two things. Depending on which Apify Apollo scraper you use, you could get some personal emails alongside the business ones. So I actually weave in the personal and the business ones. Gets me a higher email rate, and I find that personal ones are better, to be honest. So kind of weird, but yeah, that's one. The other is you can obviously use an email verifier. And the other is you could just turn the feature that makes your emails emails stop when you hit a sufficient bounce rate, you could just turn that feature off. Instantly will get mad at you because you will be hurting your deliverability. But if I'm honest, you know that campaign that I created in the Watch Me Start and Sell an AI Service in 10 Hours video? It's one of my, cornerstone videos. So if you haven't checked it out and you're wondering what I'm talking about, go do it. I literally build an offer. I build like 6 offers, I think, live on camera, and then I put them in a cold email campaign. Then I send it, and then I actually get like interested leads that jump on calls. So it's like very, very cool, start to finish. But yeah, like on that campaign, I just raw dogged the Appify Apollo export with 0 validation, and then I ended up with now I'm at a 4% reply rate, and my my mailboxes are fine. So you could just raw dog it like me. Okay, Not Sajan says, "Hey Nick, not about AI, but I've seen one of your videos where you mentioned about fiction books. I just started reading fiction, sci-fi mainly a few months ago, and loving it. What are a few fiction books that change your perspective on life and self? Congrats on 100K. Thank you. One guy that I really like try and be actively is this guy Kaladin. Now, there's a bunch of pretty cringy, drawings of him. This is actually pretty, no, it's not. Scar is too big, man. Nah, Scar is too big, man. Okay, anyway, I mean, these are drawn by like 16-year-old girls that just try and make him look like a freaking sex magnet, but he's pretty cool. The parts I like about him aren't even in like the fictional parts where he gets all magical and shit. He's one of my favorite characters in fiction because he's basically consistently given like the most unbelievable odds. It's called the Stormlight Archive series. So he's consistently given like the most unbelievable odds, and then he just says, "Well, you know what? Oh, and he wants to kill himself. So he's like, if I'm just going to kill myself anyway, I might as well keep going." And he has like this ethical and moral compass just continues showing up day in and day out. I think about that character a lot. I think I've internalized a lot of him. Obviously, I'm nowhere near as in a precarious position, but he's really badass. Yeah, big fan of him. What are some other characters that I consider important to me in fiction? Kaladin Stormbless is big, man. Really, really big. Anybody here know Raistlin Majir? That guy was huge. Way back in the day. Heroes of the Lance. So silly. I reread the first book a little while ago, and I was like, my goodness, this was written for 7-year-olds. That was really cool. I like Kvothe, of course, from Name of the Wind. I like Hadrian Marlowe from the Sun Eater series. So yeah. I know I'm naming people here, not the books, but these are people in the books that I think I learned a lot from. Can you make an A2A plus MCP protocols video containing workflows like these are agentic workflows which will uplift the efficiency of end-to-end workflows? Hope you make one. I hope I make one too. My goodness. Kaif Malik, do you need to be writing in caps, man? It hurts me to read this. It really does. It's like you're yelling at me. Forestcraft is the exact same question. In all caps, bro? That hurts. All right. Hey, Nick. Thank you for providing such valuable content. I've watched most of your videos on creating AI automations using N8N, but I haven't found any video which describes how to deliver this automation to the client. I didn't understand how we're supposed to deliver or set up these automations on the client system, or how the client is going to use these automations. I've asked the same question multiple times on your Nick Saraev YouTube channel also, but I didn't get any answer. I'm committed. Please reply or make the dedicated video on the credentials we are going to provide to the client and how we're going to deliver these automation systems to the client. Thank you, Kaif Malik here. Well, Kaif Malik, I recorded a video on this a while ago. And I'm looking for it right now. I believe it was called How to Service Your First AI Automation Agency Client in 2024. And it's right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this over. I'm going to reply to this comment with my... I'm going to reply to this comment with my link. And hopefully that helps you. Anyway, Mihai says, keep going, Nick. The real work starts now. Don't stop. Thank you, bro. Walk HXRDTT says, hey, Nick, I'm starting out by focusing on a specific niche, private clinics, and building a SaaS product around automation, patient retention, and reactivation. Very cool. The challenge is start from $0 or £0. I'm trying to figure out how to get my name out there and be known by these clinics. Do you have any advice on getting early traction or breaking into the space? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough without any money, man. Like getting in front of these guys, simplest way is having a little bit of money, right? Now you can do customized emails, like I'm doing customized or mass emails. Um, your total daily volume is just going to be significantly lower, and it's not going to be anywhere near scalable. But to be honest, at the very start line, when you have £0, like the thing that you need to do is things that don't scale. To be honest, so yeah, my advice for you is honestly just front loading cold outbound and just being extraordinarily consistent with it for a very long period of time. If you can send 30 custom pieces of communique a day, then that's 10,000 by the end of the year, right? Realistically, if you are doing this in the UK, there probably aren't even 10,000 of these private clinics in that specific niche. So you're going to hit all of them. And then when you finish all of them, you just start with the first one again and continue going down alongside follow-ups and whatnot. So yeah, I wish I wish I had some magic here for you, man. I wish I had some juice, but like honestly, that's my advice for a lot of people in your position. Just obviously figure out the tools, figure out the technology you're trying to build, figure out the problems that the people that you are dealing with are suffering from. But after that, once you're at like the 80-20 there, which you can really get to in a few days, um, yeah, you just talk. You just talk a lot. You nonstop yap. All right. So I'm gonna leave it there, guys, because I'm already coming up on 15 minutes. Also, I'm just realizing that my camera lighting is really rough. I just put the blinds up because I showered and I didn't want everybody to see me shirtless. That is not something the public needs right now. I just got on a new Airbnb. I'm on a high rise, and that like part of the thing is directly facing one of the busiest streets in my city. It's a really cool high rise. I like it, but yeah, the busyness of that street, unfortunately, precludes me from being able to walk out without doing the blinds. Okay, so we're doing some daily stats here. So I went from 101,552 on my main YouTube channel to 102,774. This is growth of 1,222 or 1.2%. It's not bad. On my Instagram, I go to blastup.com and then I basically call a service here that gets me my updated follower count. This is 144,566. So I went from 139,257 to 144,566. That's a 5,309 subscriber bump, almost 4%. And I think this might be the biggest day on record, to be honest. I'm not seeing anything with a 5. So I need to fix that. Also, I'm going to fix this today because I don't like looking at these. And then my daily updates channel is 5,081. I've actually purposely created not very clickbaity titles and well, this is kind of clickbaity, I guess, but like not the last couple of days, I've not really focused on trying to make these banger videos, Like I would say this is me trying to make a banger video, start an AI automation agency with $100, with like the thumbnail and stuff. This is me making a banger video, how broke beginners are winning with AI agencies, and then kind of a clickbaity thumbnail. But actually the last couple of days I haven't, and you can actually see that it's reflected in my percentile growth, right? Like these are my clickbait days, and then this is my non-clickbait day. So it sucks for me to say, but I'm probably going to go back to doing the clickbait days. I mean, working through this stuff in real time is pretty cool. And in San Francisco, I just came back from San Fran. I was there for a week. I didn't really have the time to kind of sit down and think through the best way to frame these. But yeah, I think from now on, I'm probably just going to go back to those, like how broke beginners are winning with AI automation, because that's fun. And you know what? I do actually make a lot of money from the daily updates channel now. The people that are with me from like the OG days, when I started posting on the daily updates channel, I guess over 100 something days ago. Yeah, like I was making $0 a month back then, but now, I don't know, I wish I had some sort of attribution on how many people are joining from my daily updates. It's hard to say, but this is like a very effective like conversion mechanism because you just like hear me talk and pontificate about business all day. And yeah, it just adds a lot of credibility. Becomes pretty clear that I know what I'm talking about when I yap long form for the song, right? All right, so I want to fill in a couple of these gaps. To make a long story short, I pre-filmed my daily updates channel on May the 5th for May the 6th, which is why I didn't have one here. And then I think for May the 8th, I actually ended up recording it and like really, really late on May the 8th at like 11:59 or something like that. Not actually, but something like that. And I don't know why, but I didn't put that in there, or maybe my video cut off or something happened. So I got to get historical stats for all this stuff. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to probably just do live count and then just go back. So let's do my daily updates channel first. So what day is this? May 6th? There's a little hack you can do on Sheets, which will keep the keep the column visible. So May the 6th on my daily updates channel, it says 4,885, right? Okay, that actually looks reasonable. If I put that in there, that's a big spike. Let's do May the 8th as well. May the 8th was 4,993? Okay. So, obviously I didn't time this well or something because there's no way I only grew 16 subs that day. All right, I don't know how I'm going to do the Instagram, so let's do this one. May the 8th, 99,688, right? And then May the 6th was 97,159. Wow, so that was 2,700 growth. So that's pretty crazy. Okay, so now I need to find a way to do this with my Instagram. Does Blast Up do historical? Can I track this over time? No, I can't. Could I track? With maybe one of these tools? Let's see. Graph, please. Give me graph. I require graph. So I'm not getting any specifics here. Just getting loose numbers, but that's okay. I'm fine with it. So 131,000 and then 134.4. So 131,000, 134.4. Cool. We've now eliminated those ugly gaps, which I like. Also, I'm just going to set the date so that it's after May the 1st. So we're going to go, what would this be? 5th? Sorry, 4:30, I think. Yeah, there we go. So here we could see that I've clearly grown almost 13,000 subs over. Wow, I've grown a ridiculous number of subscribers here in the last, since the beginning of my 17,000. It's 6 times what I grew in the whole month of February. And we're only 1 month, 10 days through. That's pretty nutty, huh? All right. I'm just going to do a little bit of I'm not going to do any building today, unfortunately. Just want to do a little bit of out loud brainstorming if you guys will have me. So I spent a fair amount of my last week at events and I had a lot of fun. It was great. As I may have mentioned in one of my previous videos, I really clicked with a lot of the people that I met in San Francisco. It was frightening almost just how much they were speaking my language. They used the mannerisms and aphorisms and whatnot that I do. It kind of felt like just reading Less Wrong and just seeing a bunch of people from Less Wrong. Although the events that I went to were more money focused, a lot of the conversations that I had with people not at the events were just super insanely valuable. And then also I made a bunch of friends and stuff like that from the events as well. So had a lot of fun in San Fran, I guess, just to make a long story short. It was freaking awesome. The issue is I sort of fell off the wagon with some of my work. One recurring theme that I got was everybody there, or a lot of people there, asked me, hey man, how the hell do you consistently do all this stuff? You're doing a lot of work consistently every day for a very long period of time. Do you have a clone or a twin? And I never really thought much of it, but I think I confidently know what the answer to that is now. And the answer is I don't really go to stuff like this. If I go to stuff like this consistently, if I do something like this once a month, I can't actually continue to produce. So producing is more important than fraternizing and whatnot. So I don't really instead of fraternizing and going to cool events and being invited by all these awesome companies, I just consistently work. So that answer is really boring, but it's the truth. If you just push a ball slowly down a hill little by little, it goes faster and faster and faster and faster over time. Likewise, if I'm a rocket ship and I'm blowing up in the air right now, me consistently taking a few days off every month to do some cool event or whatever is basically like the rocket blasters turning off for 10% of my ride. Am I really going to grow as quickly if the rocket blasters turn off 10% of the time? No. So to be pragmatic, I'm probably not going to do another one of these events for quite a while. It was really close. I almost fell through on all of my promises. And we did fall through a couple of times because of how late some of my videos were and some of the recording and logistical complexities of doing this while moving around and also having a bunch of events during the day. One of the videos that we published was past the deadline of midnight. So we technically broke the streak. I mean, if you zoom out on a monthly basis, we'll still have hit 30 videos in 30 days. So my goal is fine, but I really did want to just have a consistent unbroken chain on that YouTube analytics with one video posted every day before midnight for a year. And yeah, I mean, not even a couple months in, and I've already had to make sacrifices surrounding that. So I know that before a bunch of people in the comments start saying stuff like, "Well, Nick, life is to be lived." I really think it's just about your values. I get a tremendous amount of enjoyment out of just like getting 1% better every day. And maybe that is the hack, just being satisfied with being able to get 1% better every single day and just have that be like your really valuable, exciting thing that you do. But I get less excitement out of, traveling and mucking up my sleep and constantly being a little bit tense or on edge, and so on and so forth. And while I think that that sort of thing is necessary for personal and self growth, I don't think it's necessary anywhere near as often as I'm seeing a lot of people do it. So I'm just going to dial it way the hell back myself. And maybe I'll do this sort of thing like twice a year instead of once a month or so, like all the opportunities that are shaping up are starting to make it seem like I'll have access to. So, yeah, guys, just wanted to fill you in on where I'm at with that. San Fran was obviously really fun, but the quality of the content that I'm producing, I think matters a lot more to me. And this is a very sensitive time just in my life in general. And I just get much more enjoyment out of, like consistently pushing high quality content out, knowing that I'm making an impact to hundreds of thousands of people worldwide than I do meeting really cool people, admittedly. When I say this, to be clear, I'm not saying that I didn't really enjoy myself. I'm saying that I'm so ridiculous that I actually enjoy not doing all of that even more. Isn't that crazy? I know, it's weird. So yeah, anyway, to make a long story short, that's what I'm gonna focus on. And I do have a couple upsets here, but my priorities for the next 72 hours or so are recording 2 videos a day instead of 1 video so that I have a big enough queue that I never need to feel like I'm down to a single video again, and so that I can zoom out a little bit and start producing higher quality content rather than content that I just feel compelled to at the last second because I have this relatively superficial deadline. I think I'm going to be able to help a lot more people as a result of that. And I think I was lacking on a couple of my earlier videos because I didn't have the time to like think through exactly what it was that I wanted to do. I didn't have the time to really consider like the longer term strategy of the content, which is something I got in the habit of doing about a month ago when I was publishing really consistently. And then I also want to get back to building out a new program for Make Money with Make, which is something that I was planning on doing last week that I've just consistently had to push back. I also want to introduce weekly calls into Maker Skool, which is another thing that I wanted to do, but travel threw me off my schedule, and I probably worked less than a fifth of the time I normally would have over that last week period. And I have a couple of other plans as well, but yeah, this is me just publicly making all of those declarations. Cool. I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you guys at least see where I'm coming from. If you guys want to roast the hell out of me in the comments, please do. But yeah, I will see y'all tomorrow. Join Maker Skool. We're going to hit number 1 pretty soon, unless my calculations are completely off. And it'd be cool for you to be part of the number 1 community on Skool when that happens.